All right, so we're back. It continues because it's 4 vegans go into a farmhouse and drink peppermint tea because we've had a change of teapot, because we've had a change of topic, but we left you with a cliffhanger, didn't we? What did your mum say when you went vegan? But before we hear the answer, you can tell that I'm really a frustrated game show host, can't you? Before we hear the answer, let's do a quick introduction in case you've just jumped in now and you're going, who the heck are all these people? Why is she with these people at a table and no one's sitting normally around the table? They're all on one side. Adrian.
Hello.
Let everybody know who you are and what you do.
I'm Adrian. I'm a country doctor in South Australia.
Brilliant. Jenny's drinking tea.
I'm Jenny, and I like to tell people my passion is spending time in the garden and the kitchen.
Brilliant.
And I pretty much go between those two places and love it.
And what's your background?
My background is nursing and a very long-standing interest in nutrition and healthy lifestyle.
Brilliant.
And the daughter of a dairy farmer.
And a mother of 4 beautiful sons.
Oh, they're married, by the way, just in case you're going, quite familiar, aren't they? The way they're chatting to each other. And Kirsty's here.
And I'm Kirsty. I'm a writer. I'm a mum. I'm growing another human. I'm bringing some more vegans into the world, essentially. That's my role.
Excellent. So, what did your mum say? Hi, Sue. What did your mum say when you told her that you were plant-based?
My mum was my absolute biggest advocate. She was brilliant. I had probably had a lot more issue with my dad and my brother.
Okay.
They were very, what are you doing? What's going on? You're losing weight. Very, very concerned about every aspect of my life. And Mum was very much on my side and fighting all of my battles for me, and she was absolutely amazing, and she came on the journey with me. So she did the research and she felt obviously comfortable with my decision, and she was there to back me up. So I actually can't complain about the way it went for me. Yeah, I think it helped that she obviously met everyone at the same time, and she was part of these discussions that we had, these very robust discussions we had over the trestle table at the farm's market.
Yeah. When my mum said, oh, you've lost a bit of weight, I said, yes, that's good, isn't it? I'm getting healthier.
Yeah.
And just hit them with, and she said, oh yeah, you are.
Yeah, I'm feeling amazing.
And I feel happier and more,
What did she say? That you were losing weight?
You're not getting too gaunt, are you? I said, oh, no, I'm getting into the healthy weight range.
Yeah, right.
And then she actually thought about it and said, she's virtually plant-based now in her 80s.
Isn't that extraordinary?
She's amazingly healthy. She's still in a walking group.
She totally embodies her name, Grace. I mean, seriously,
Absolutely.
such a stylish woman. Yeah, she's amazing. Wow, I didn't know that she was basically plant-based.
She's about 95% plant-based.
Wow. My brother always says that. I'm basically a practicing vegan. I'm kind of between 55% depending on the weekend and 95% depending on the week. And I'm like, yeah. Jenny, now, obviously your beautiful mum is no longer with us, but was she still here when you went plant-based? Can you remember?
I think we were probably starting our transition to all plant foods, and Mum would be fine if we would have just said we eat lots of vegetables, and we've always grown up with a vegetable garden, so that's easy.
Okay,
no queries or complaints there, and I probably just didn't mention that I didn't drink milk or eat cheese to Mum.
I just didn't mention it. It's not that I didn't tell her, I just didn't not tell her.
It's easier to talk about the things we were doing to be really healthy.
That's an excellent angle, and I remember you saying that to me. Just rather than talk about the things you don't eat, talk about the things you do eat.
I think that's a really good way of putting it to patients at work.
Yeah,
right. They say, but when you see people on a diet, it's often, oh, you can't eat this, you can't eat that, but it's more, well, what if we fill up 50% of our plate with some starchy vegetables like potatoes, but don't put lots of cheese in it or milk, and then we can have a grain, a beautiful brown rice, and then we have some greens, and we've got this and we've got that, and oh goodness, there's no room left for the meat. But if you just plough up the food, and they lose weight.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So this idea that you can't actually be full if you're just eating plants, I mean, we all know that that's not true, right? But do you think that there's a transition time where the feeling in your body is, I always thought of it as a feeling of lightness, but that gets misconstrued for, I'm still hungry, or I'm never going to be full if I just eat plants. What do you guys do to fill up?
I often and plenty. I don't need to think about, I shouldn't have any more of that. As long as it's a whole plant food, eat when you're hungry.
Yeah.
I love that. We have big plates of food, don't we, for dinner? Big colourful plates.
Yeah,
It's wonderful.
I think the calories are concentrated when you've got processed food.
Sure.
Because of course the caloric content, sorry about talking about calories, in fats and oils is about twice as much as they are in carbs.
Yeah.
So we just eat carbs. And that's just how we eat.
Yeah.
And we do have a plate full of food.
Yeah, right. Well, while we've got Adrian and Kirsty here, and your experience as well, Jenny, with not only having 4 babies herself, but also being a nurse, what kinds of things are you getting asked about if you say that you're plant-based and having a baby?
People are always concerned that I don't have enough iron, and I mean the thing is when you're pregnant your iron depletes regardless. There's plenty of non-plant-based mothers that are on iron supplements and have iron infusions.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's just part of being pregnant. A lot more people were concerned that I'd have a small baby.
Okay.
And that was another thing my mum was very proud to say, 8-pound-8 baby, vegan baby, look at that. She was always so proud. And I was like, yeah, I wish he was kind of a little bit smaller. 8-pound-8.
You're like, I'm okay actually, we can bring the size down.
And fortunately, I've got a wonderful midwife who's on board with my lifestyle, and she's got no concerns whatsoever. So I think surrounding yourself by really good people and people that support the decisions makes a difference.
Informed people
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
And because this is my second pregnancy, everyone knows, like, don't even go there with her. She had an 8-pound-8 baby. She's fine.
She's the untouchable vegan now. No, that's awesome, because there is that whole myth. Like, I know a couple of acquaintances, see, they didn't even get in as friends, acquaintances have said, oh no, there's no way you'd be able to get pregnant if you're vegan. And I'm like, what? Where'd you get that from? Like, what would you say if somebody came to see you and said, oh, I have to eat a certain way in order to get pregnant?
What I often tell people is, if you have the whole food, the plants have got all the nutrients built into them. So if a plant's got some iron in it, then, no, not if a plant, the iron in the plant, there's also usually a little bit of vitamin C in it and a few other vitamins and minerals. So each of these enhances the absorption of everything else.
Yeah.
To quote T. Colin Campbell from the China study, it's a symphony.
Yeah.
And that's very different than if you just have a piece of woodwind processed food where you're actually almost deciding what you want to put into something. And they don't necessarily all go together, but by eating the whole food, as whole food, everything's enhancing the absorption of everything else.
You obviously wouldn't have been plant-based when you had your boys.
But I wish I was.
Do you?
And I've told each of our sons, if I'd known back then what I know now, I would have been plant-based during pregnancy.
Yeah,
and would have been raised as purely plant-based children.
Amazing. What's their response?
A few years ago, they would have said, oh, thank goodness you weren't.
Yeah.
But now, pretty much, they're all transitioning to whole plant foods.
Yeah.
So
and they're
they
huge.
understand.
Don't just dispel that idea that some weedy, sickly vegan is walking along. It's like those boys are not weedy or sickly.
No.
Yeah. So, okay, so if somebody was wanting to get pregnant and they were thinking that they wanted to be plant-based as well, obviously the response here is positive, but what issues would you say somebody might need to look out for?
Apart from criticism from other people, and maybe their doctor, I think just vitamin B12. That's only, because you're not going to go and drink well water and pick mushrooms and not wipe the dirt off it these days.
Well,
Especially if the mushrooms are
No.
brought. Well, especially depends on how the mushrooms are grown. So no, just vitamin B12.
okay.
That's the only thing.
And I think you'd have to stress, don't you, that it needs to be a whole food
That's-
plant-based
Yeah.
diet,
That's the
and
thing.
not one of the vegan diets that many people would,
Yeah.
Yeah.
think, well, Oreo biscuits and
Yeah.
Fanta and I don't know.
Yeah.
There's lots of
Well,
plant-based
Fanta's
foods.
orange.
Yeah.
I've
Plant
never had a
foods.
B12 issue. In any of my tests, I've never ever had a B12
Brilliant.
issue. And even I think when my son was 5 months old, I went back to the doctor because I was like, I'm so tired all the time. Can you check my iron for me because I'm just exhausted? And he did the blood test and he just said, you're just a new mum. Your bloods are all fine. Everything is perfect.
You're like, what?
You're
this
a new
is how
mum.
it feels?
Awesome. Can't wait till this passes.
Did it? Did you feel
yeah,
any better?
yeah, when he
okay.
started sleeping. So.
Okay. So what things do you like crave? Because obviously you're not craving sausage rolls or although she makes a mean vegan sausage roll, this one.
I've never really I've never done the cravings thing.
Oh, okay.
This pregnancy, I've definitely had more of a sweet tooth. So as I've said to you a few times, I really need some cake. really, really craving the cake. But no, I'm very much a carb fiend though. Like I do love carbs. So
Yeah, same.
pasta and rice and
Yeah.
you know, all of those things. But no, I don't really get cravings, and I do wonder if that's because I have a whole food plant-based diet. I'm meeting all of those nutritional needs that maybe I'm not craving anything.
Brilliant.
That's kind of how I see it. I'm no doctor.
Yeah. No, but you're in your own body and you're growing a person and you're doing a good job of it, so that's all good. All right, so I think one of the big things for me was the information that other people gave me and still do, you know, exactly what we're doing now. So my next question would be, what would the piece of advice be that you would give somebody who came to you and said, you know what, I think I might try this plant-based thing, but hold it there because we're going to get the answer in the next episode after we've had another pot of tea.